Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Let me start, though, with the Saints' dominating win over the Las Vegas Raiders. For weeks now, y'all, for weeks and weeks and weeks, we've been having this conversation about the Saints offense. And I get it. I get why we've been having the conversation. We spent so much of the offseason wondering if Jameis is going to be the future, right? And then Jameis gets hurt, and then Dalton comes in, and then it's like, do you go back to Jameis? I get why we've had the conversation, the quarterback conversation. And we talked so much about the injuries, right? No Michael Thomas, no Jarvis Landry. Deontay Hardy's on IR now. You wonder if you're going to get him back at any point this year. You know, Kamara had the rib injury, missed a couple of games. Taysom Hill missed a game earlier this year. We've talked a lot about that. And when the injury conversation has come up around this team and the injury list has been lengthy, it's predominantly been offensive guys. And so a lot of people have naturally thrown their hands in the air and said, well, look at all these injuries. But the point is, the offense hasn't been the problem for New Orleans. And you finally got to see that crystallize yesterday because the defense was good. Not just good, they were great. And look at the difference that it made. Y'all, the New Orleans Saints currently are 7th in the NFL in scoring offense. Offense has not been the problem at any point. Look, yes, when Jameis Winston was playing with a broken back week 2 against Tampa, it was bad, okay? Since then, the offense has not been the issue. The problem is, a year ago, with an anemic offense, with 4 different quarterbacks throughout the year, you won 9 games because your defense was 4th in the league in scoring. Your defense was freaking awesome. That has been the cornerstone of the last half decade when Dennis Allen became the DC. The defense has just continued to ascend to be elite, truly elite. And this year they have stunk. Going into Sunday, the New Orleans Saints were 31st out of 32 teams in scoring defense. The defense was atrocious. You didn't lose to Cincinnati because of your offense. You scored 26 points in that game. You lost because nobody could tackle Jamar Chase. You didn't lose in Minnesota because of your offense, or London against Minnesota because of your offense. You lost because after you took the lead, you allowed Justin Jefferson to be a freak show. And then you tied it, and then you allowed the deep ball and they kicked the game winner to walk you off. You scored 34 points in Arizona and lost. There were 2 pick sixes. Fine. Your defense gave up 28 to an offense that had been anemic, that had lost 8 straight home games, had scored 9 points the week before against a terrible Seattle defense. Speaking of Seattle, you won that game, we forget it, but you allowed them to score 32 in your building. Your defense has been atrocious. All the conversation about Mike Thomas and Jarvis Landry and Jameis and injuries on offense, it hasn't mattered. The point is, your defense has been garbage until yesterday. And maybe a big part of it was Alvin Kamara finally flexing his muscles and saying, hey, this ain't what we do. And enough guys actually fell in line for a day. I mean, y'all, that defense, do you realize in this day and age in the NFL, in today's NFL, to prevent another offense from running a play on your side of the 50 until inside of 2 minutes to go in the game? That's unheard of. Everybody made all the LSU Bama jokes. I get it from the 2011 National Championship. And you're right to. This is the National Football League, where if you're a defensive back, you breathe on a receiver, here comes the flag. Teams intentionally throw one-on-one jump balls, 50-50 balls, just to draw a flag. One busted play after a kickoff, like you're in your opponent's territory. The Las Vegas Raiders with Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, who had back-to-back 100-yard games, they did not run a play in Saints territory until they were inside of 2 minutes to go in the game. They benched Carr for Stidham. Hey, bro, just go sit down. Like it ain't your day. Just go. So we'll let the kid from Auburn just go run this thing out real quick. It was incredible to watch. Josh Jacobs, 10 carries, 43 yards. Devontae Adams had an oh, by the way, excuse me, 1 catch for 3 yards. You realize in the first half, they had a 3rd and 1. They run an end around with Devontae Adams, and Marcus Davenport caught him in the air like he was a child and body slammed him. It was like a WWE move. When the really little guy tries to do the fly through the air thing and knock down the big guy, and the big guy catches him in the air and body slams him, that's what that was like. But that was Devontae Adams. Oh, and the next play, they faked a punt, and you stuffed him. It was incredible. Everything the Saints did defensively worked. And most importantly, like, huge hat tip to Alontae Taylor. No Marshawn Lattimore, no Bradley Roby. Alontae Taylor had to take on a huge role, and he locked down Devontae Adams. It was awesome to see, completely unafraid. See the play on the sideline where he literally, he broke up a pad, he stood over Devontae Adams. It's like, that's a rookie just standing over one of the best receivers in the world. It was incredible to watch. But most importantly, was your defensive line. This is the core of what we've talked about for several weeks now. The personnel turnover on the defensive front has led to what you've had. You've got an aging Cam Jordan, an aging David Onyemata. You've got an underperforming Marcus Davenport who hasn't really been on the field much. You let Sheldon Rankins go. You let Trey Hendrickson go. Malcolm Brown's gone. Like, you just don't have the same personnel. But for a day, the guys that were out there validated the organization's trust in them. Y'all, 4 sacks, 7 TFLs, 8 pass defenses, 9 quarterback hits. Y'all, the sacks, it ain't like this was corner blitzes. Peyton Turner had 2. Kentavious Street and Cam Jordan shared 1. David Onyemata had a sack. It was all from your defensive line. Your defensive line whipped the Raiders' behinds up front. Sometimes I got to remind myself I ain't talking about scone and tea right now. This ain't whiskey and wine. I gotta check myself. It was overwhelming, the defensive performance. Hat tip to him. Now the key is making sure that's not a one-off. Because we all watched this team in 2012 when they went 7-9. We watched this team go back-to-back 7-9 seasons from 2014, 15, 16, and that was the problem. You'd have that great game, but you'd win 1, lose 2. And then maybe you'd string a couple together, and then you'd lose 3 straight. The key, and that's how you end up at or below 500, is you can't string together consistently good performances. Go back to 2016. You started 0-3. Then you won back-to-back games. And you were a game away from getting to 500, and then you lost to Kansas City. And so you're 2-4. Then you win 2 in a row. You get to 4-4. You're feeling good. Then you lose 2 in a row, and you're right back 2 games under 500. That's the key. You play this awesome game against the Raiders. Now you got to go do it again. And I'm going to tell you, when we talked about this season in the schedule before the season, we said, man, look, you got to make your hay early because, man, the meat grinder's in the middle, and then the final couple weeks you have a couple of winnable games again, but you got to get ahead early, and the Saints didn't do that clearly. But when you look at the schedule now, the next 5 look a lot more manageable than they did 2 months ago if the Saints who played against the Raiders show up. Can the Saints beat Baltimore at home? If they play like they did yesterday, they can. Can the Saints win at Pittsburgh? Wouldn't have said it in August. Going to say it now, they could. Home against the Rams? Rams have been a little bit of a mess, y'all. That's winnable. I don't think you can win at San Francisco the way they're playing right now. But then you got to go to Tampa. And who knows who they'll have left standing by that point. My point is, over these next 5, it's plausible if you play like that you can go 4-1. And if you do, now you're in the driver's seat in this division. But in these next 5, you got to come through that with a winning record. What you can't do is now go lose at home on Monday night and then go lose it at the Steelers. Because that's what bad, inconsistent teams do, and that's what this team has been so far. And they got to make sure that yesterday wasn't the one-off, and they're able to stack good performances now and carry it forward. Look, 5 games until your bye. If you're able to go 2 games above 500, you'll go into your bye at 500 with 4 games to go and a chance maybe to win the division. That's your hope, but you got to stack good games. Yesterday was awesome to watch, and it feels good to wake up on a Monday when your team has a performance like that. But now you got to stack them. See if they can do it Monday Night Football a week from tonight against the Ravens. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.